welcome to Gattsy on Goosebumps, a show in which I review every single Goosebumps book from R.L. Stein's original series. And today we'll be continuing the Monster Blood saga with Goosebumps number 29, Monster Blood 3, and we'll be enjoying a lovely Margaret River Bold Block Chardonnay. So if I can just... You can see from the front cover there we've got a big boy with some nice red Converse shoes there, and you can see there's a tiny little can of what we presume is Monster Blood leaking out in a playground, and he's stepping on some swings there. I really like how all the Monster Blood books have a different green colour scheme. I think it works well. Tagline is, Evan's growing up way too fast, because of the Monster Blood. And blurb reads as follows. It's the slime that never dies. Oh, I didn't realise they were doing a Goosebumps book about the Republican Party. No. Evan can't stand babysitting his genius cousin Kermit. Kermit refuses to play video games. He won't even play Frisbee. And all he likes to do is hang out in the basement doing strange experiments and playing mean practical jokes on Evan and his friend Andy. But now Andy's found something that will teach Kermit a lesson once and for all. It's green, it's slimy, and it comes in a can marked Monster Blood. Monster Blood 1 featured a can of green slime that had a spell cast on it that made it keep growing, and it kept growing and growing until it consumed the witch who put a spell on the slime originally, turning everything back to normal. Monster Blood 2, R.L. Stein wisely decided that it's stupid to have a magic spell being the reason for that, and just made it stuff that keeps growing, and a hamster grew really big. And that brings us to number 3. So we've got Evan still friends with Andy, who's the girl, and he's still being bullied by Conan, who's the boy. But introduced to the saga is Evan's cousin Kermit, who's this real little nerd. It really fresh off of Cuckoo Clock of Doom with a really annoying younger sibling or younger relative. It sort of continues in the same vein. He's this real little dipshit that just keeps trying to get Evan in trouble with his mum. Keeps trying to get Evan in trouble with his own... He's babysitting Kermit, so he keeps telling his mum that Evan's not doing a good job babysitting, always getting him in trouble, and like getting him beaten up by Conan, and then saying Evan was picking fights. Little bastard. You'd think that after Monster Blood 2, where all the problems arise because Andy decides to use Monster Blood to play a prank on Evan's mean teacher, they'd learn their lesson about not using Monster Blood as a prank. But they don't, and they do the exact same thing. And they slip Monster Blood into one of Kermit's science experiments. He's always making mixtures, like he makes one that shrinks things. That's probably not relevant. And so they slip in the Monster Blood, and nothing really happens. The mixture explodes, and it happens to get on a bit of candy bar that that Evan is eating. And so Evan grows really tall. And first he uses his giant size to get back at Conan. I think he puts him up in a tree. Then he plays a baseball game, and all the kids are amazed, but that all the kids are amazed that this friend of theirs is so big, but they seem to go along with it pretty easily. But it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and eventually the police are alerted. And so Evan's on the run from the police with his giant shoes. Then Kermit has the bright idea that he can use the shrinking mixture from the first part of the story to shrink Evan back to his normal size, which it's good that he was able to make that mixture, I guess. And there's a lot of hijinks. First time, I think, he grows feathers, or he turns blue, or he gets the hiccups and stuff. And then finally, he gets the right mixture, and before the police can capture Evan and I guess presumably shoot him, he's back to normal size. All's well that ends well. Or is it? It ends with Evan waking up during a nightmare, and he's shrunk down to the size of a bone, and his beloved dog Trigger, is picking up like a bone, and he calls to his dad and says, "I think we have a little problem," which is very clever to make a pun like that when you're when you're seconds away from death. So the Monster Blood books are always a lot of fun, except for the first one, which wasn't that fun because, as I said before, it's kind of stupid that they make it like there's a spell on this slime, and then they forget all that in the second book, and they forget about that in the second book. There's just this substance that always grows, except when it's not convenient for the plot for it to grow. Like in the first book, for example, you open the can, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Then, like in the second book, and in this book as well, you can just, like, I guess, open it from the can and just use a tiny bit, and only that tiny bit will grow. The other thing won't turn into like a big blob again. And also, it's readily available apparently. Like they found like this old magic jar in the first one, and they like get another one in the second book, and then Andy's parents send her a third Monster Blood can from Europe. So I guess it's like it's all over the world, and readily available for purchase, even though it has like devastating effects. So in the second book, it was in the second book everything went back to normal because the Monster Blood was expired. It was old and stale, and they make a point to say, "Oh, this is fresh Monster Blood. I won't do that." So that's why we have the shrinking serum. I mean, for a resolution, it's fine. Our does take pains to establish that Kermit does make these these mixtures all the time. It's not just like he whips one out of the blue. That's like mainly what he does throughout the book, is making these these weird serums and stuff. So I guess it makes sense that he'd be able to do that. But sort of a dead giveaway from the start when he's got like this shrinking mixture, and then the plot involves something that makes you grow really, really big. But it's fine. It's more of a hijinks one than a scary one. Evan trying to evade the police and doing fun things while he's really big, like playing baseball. He contemplates being a superhero at one stage. So not going to give you chills. But a fun and a good continuation of the saga. He does actually make himself grow at the end of the second book to fight the giant hamster. And I think maybe Einstein just thought, hey, that's a good idea. Let's make that the basis for the second book. So yeah, you've got giant blob in the first book / giant dog in the first book, giant hamster / giant boy in the second book, and now just giant boy in the third one. And it's fun. It is what it is. You'd think they would have learned their lesson about using Monster Blood as a prank, as I said, but they don't, and I'm sure they've learned a lesson this time. Overall, fun book. Just great to enjoy in the sunshine, much like a Margaret River bold block Chardonnay. Best enjoyed with friends, but that's not always possible. That's all for this week. Please join me next time, in which I discuss Goosebumps number 30. It came from beneath the sink, with a very special guest star. As always, thank you for watching. Please stay spooky, and slip, slop, slap. Oh.